I've been in Japan now for about 2 weeks, and I'm finally getting to the point where I'm slightly settled, so I figured it's time that I do my little apartment tour. I'm assuming it's not going to be very long considering how small it is, but here we go. So if we start from the front, this would be what you would see as you first come in. This is a 2DK, meaning 2 rooms and a dining room, kitchen, like all in one, 2DK. And so this would be the DK portion. This would be the kitchen, which got my microwave, my little canvas bag here for when I go shopping, my very, very impressive set of tableware, and then soap, things like that, and my sink, and then this would be the D part of the DK, which is for the dining room. As you can see right now, it is taken up by a literal horde of cardboard boxes. I feel like I feel like my apartment's turned into that little city in Eda and Nedi made out of complete cardboard, but we're working through that. But over here we have the little mini fridge that I've got with my rice cooker and my hot water boiler, little electric kettle, and then trash assortment. Trash in Japan is a little interesting. As you notice, I have 3 trash cans. This guy right here is for paper. This would be, I guess, your compost trash, and then this is plastics. But it is separate from what they call PET bottles, which are these guys and those guys. And basically, these are your sort of hard plastic bottles, and those are separate. Those go out on a completely separate day. Each one of these has a trash day of the week. So it is a lot to sort through, but I'm starting to get used to it. And actually, as an example of how you would recycle these bottles, because as you notice, the caps and the wrapping is gone, and that's because you recycle in this guy the caps and the wrapper, and then the rest of the PET bottles get thrown out in that trash day that I was talking about. And then the cardboard also has its own day. For me, at least, it comes out about twice every month, and I have to bundle all of these. So if you notice, these are in like little organized piles. I actually have to buy string, and I have to wrap these in string and then take them out pile by pile. So if I were to take all of this out, I would probably take up the entire trash area. So I obviously can't do that. So it's going to take me months, probably a few months. I'm hoping to get it all done before Christmas, but we'll see. But when this is all cleared out, I have a little table that I would like to just, sort of populate this area with, which would be nice. But yeah, that takes care of the dining room and kitchen. So if we move in from the dining room and kitchen, we have our little bath area with our laundry. So we have this laundry machine here that I had to purchase, and we've got the sink and your typical mirror, medicine cabinet. All of these open up, as you can see. And then we have the bidet, which is completely new to me. I've never had my ass blasted before, but I will say I've had worse experiences. It's interesting here. It's got all these little settings on it. Honestly, when I first arrived, I only knew stop, and then I only knew bidet just by reading it, but I never realized that this symbol was a symbol of a woman. And this is actually not to clean your ass with. So I'm sure you can figure that out. This Oshiri, that is the ass blasting button, and that is what I'm supposed to be using, which I am now. So these 2 buttons are pretty much the only 2 buttons I use because I have no idea what all of this is. I think some of it is like heated seating for the winter, but I need to figure that part out. I haven't gotten that far yet. But if we move over to the bathroom, or the bathtub, I guess, then we've got our little tub section here. I don't fit amazingly in it, but it's it's functional. But luckily I do have this little shower piece that detaches and I can shower myself if I need to do something quickly. But that actually reminds me, if you see this little pad right here, the same pad is actually out here in my kitchen, which is really nice. There's these two devices here. This is the hot water. It controls the temperature of the water. You can click this guy. You can see I have it set to 40 degrees Celsius. This is for water inside of the house, and this is for water specifically for the bath. I have them both set at 40 right now. That's what the realtor recommended to me, so I've just been using that. As far as what all of these buttons do, I'm not entirely sure. I know that you can program this to do baths at a certain time. So let's say you wanted to wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. and have a bath ready. You could program this to start the bath. Alternatively, what I do right now is if you click this button, which I don't want to right now, because what it does is it autofills the bath to like the perfect level, and then it just keeps it warm. It keeps it at this temperature. So usually whenever I want to take a bath, I just click this little button and then I wait for a bit, and then the bath tells me when it's done, just beeps a bunch. And this guy is the intercom system. So if you were to ring my doorbell, the image of presumably you would show up, and then I could press these buttons to speak to you if I needed to or whatnot. Usually I just look at the image, say, oh look, it's an Amazon delivery guy, and then I head outside. Something that I want to just quickly mention is that if you're moving to Japan and you're tall, for instance, my height is 6'3" or about 190 centimeters. If you get into an older apartment like mine, which was built in the 1970s, then you might run into an issue where if you walk straight, you hit your head on the door frames. So just be aware of that. Whenever you're looking for apartments, I have to duck into every doorway. And if I don't, then I would hit my head. So yeah, so be aware of that. But we move on. So we can go into the bedroom spaces now. Sorry, I'm actually air drying clothes. I'll get to that in a second. But here is the bed that I got. It is called a double in Japan. I believe the choices were a single, a semi-double, a double, and a queen. Those were the bed sizes I got, or well, had the choice of at least, and I ended up getting the double. But I opted for some storage underneath here. I have 4 of these, so 2 here and 2 on the other side, and pretty much I just fold my clothes and put them in here. At first I was using one of the large closets that I'll show you in just a second, but I opted for this method instead. Because my Japanese buddy told me that I wasn't supposed to use the closet for that method. So also I could just store bigger stuff in there. Dirty clothes hamper. I'd say the room is like a pretty decent size actually. This is the aircon, which is just my little AC unit specifically for this room. It keeps it nice and cool. This is how I hang dry my clothes. Dryers aren't super common in Japan. You can get a washer and dryer combination. It's just more expensive. I just got a washer and figured, why not? Not that big a deal. I can just hang dry my stuff. So, I mean, this isn't how you're supposed to do things, but I'm just using the little curtain holder here for the drapes. It's functional. It works. It gets the job done. So, and from here we can go into the other room. It does have a door. I'll literally never use it, but it does slide. And this is my little computer office setup from here. Come in, and I do have an air cone for this area specifically as well. And then I have my windows. As you can see, these drapes are see-through. I didn't know that when I purchased these. I thought I was getting kind of like solid white drapes. So unfortunately, I'll probably have to buy more drapes because that's what you're seeing right here where my finger's at. These are floors to the apartments across from me. So when people are going into their houses, they can just see me and in all of my glory, which I'm sure is fun to see. But yeah, here's a little office setup. I got the chair and the desk and the monitors. Everything else I was able to stick in my suitcases. My computer is down there. I mounted it underneath the desk, and this is actually a standing desk. The wires are a bit of a mess right now, which I'm trying to fix, but if we hit this button, then the desk raises. Because of how weak the yen is right now, I was actually able to purchase this fairly cheap, well, all things considered at least, for about 600 USD. So not too bad, I would say. But yeah, that's a nice little setup I've got there. And then this is the traditional closet that I was using to put all of my clothes in, but I have since moved it all over. Now I just keep some clothes in here until I can figure out really what I want to do with all this space, because I have my suitcases up here and my futon, backpack, some of the bigger things up there. And then, yeah, not much else, so it's kind of sparse, but it's a work in progress. I'll fill this in whenever I get more stuff, inevitably. But speaking of the futon, actually, that was a lifesaver. I was able to use that for a few nights, but my first night here was terrible because I was sleeping on this wooden floor and I just had piles of clothes. I'll throw a picture up. I just had piles of clothes I was sleeping on. It was not fun. But yeah, that's it. That's what we've got for now. I actually think I got pretty lucky with my housing. I've talked to a few other people that just moved here recently as well, and it sounds like they are paying a similar price to what I'm paying, but for a much smaller space. Usually, when I talk to people about my housing, they seem like they're pretty surprised. So I'm not exactly sure what everyone else's situation is totally like, but I am happy with mine, and I couldn't really have asked for a better setup, at least in my head, because I have heard horror stories about people moving to Japan and trying to find apartments and it just being a mess and getting declined all the time. And when I moved here about 2 weeks ago, I spoke with one realtor company. Granted, I did speak to them in Japanese, so maybe that helped my chances. I was very straightforward. My first sentence to them was, "Hey, I'm a foreigner." But they worked with me and I got the first house or apartment that I wanted, which was this. And I'm pretty happy with it overall so far. I want to do some more videos here in the future about kind of like the area that I live in, which is Sendai City, and sort of what you can do around here. But for now, I don't want to make the video too long. This is just like my little apartment tour. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.